All over the world, we see people protesting against Israel and supporting Palestine. The people who protest can be divided into two groups. The first group are migrants who escaped the Middle East and do not want to live there anymore, and they decided they want to live in a civilized world. Unfortunately, they are not satisfied very long with this land that they escaped to and received haven from, and soon they want to enforce their religion on everybody and change the democratic process. So that's group number one. Group number two are mostly young people who have never been to the Middle East and think they understand the Middle East, but in fact they do not know nothing about what is happening in Israel. And the best example of this is a protest that was done recently in front of the Nova exhibit in New York. The exhibit showed the tragedy of October 7th, where hundreds of people lost their life, were injured, and lost somebody close. So, in a moment of great pain for the Jewish people, the protesters were shouting, "Free Palestine," and "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." And the ironic thing about it is that the majority of the people gathered there have no idea what river and what sea are we talking about. Some of them don't even know what are they protesting. Here is a good example of that.
I've seen videos and I don't know if all these students understand exactly why they are here or if they're just joining the crowd. I want to know if they actually understand why they are protesting and see if they can give me any good answers. What are you guys out here protesting for?
No comment.
Why are you guys out here today?
Speak to the organizers.
Why can't I wanted to ask you though.
Official statements from the organizers only.
You guys chanted from the river to the sea?
Yes.
Okay, which river, which sea?
The Sea of...
So you don't know
No.
the answer was the Mediterranean and the Jordan.
So it looks a little bit like this parody here of two people totally disconnected from the reality and not understanding actually what are they supporting. Because if they understood it, they would know that the people they're supporting would kill them instantly for who they are. That's the irony. Okay, but let's leave this woke and naive world and actually go to the place where we can understand what is happening now in the Middle East. And to do that, we have to understand the geography and the history of Israel. And to understand the complex situation with the Palestinians, we have to understand that there are different types of Palestinians, or as I call them, Arabs. So the first group of people are the ones who live in Gaza, and they are ruled by Hamas, a terrorist organization that attacked Israel on October 7th. What many people don't know, however, is that Israel left Gaza in 2005. The Israeli government ordered all the Jewish people to leave Gaza, and those that opposed were removed by force. Israel even removed the bones of the people that were buried in Gaza. That is a clear sign they were not returning. Of course, this was a very dramatic time for the Israelis. What was left behind, however, was a whole infrastructure that was built there by the Israelis. So factories, farms, everything was available for the people, the Arab people that lived there. But instead of using this tremendous wealth that was left behind, you know what the Arabs did? They came and they burned everything. They burned the farms, they burned the greenhouses, the factories, they even killed the animals because they hated the Jews so much. But that's not all. After the total destruction of all the wealth that was left behind, the people in Gaza elected Hamas, a very radical, extremist, terrorist organization that just destroyed all opposition in Gaza. They have chosen themselves this organization. Since then, different organizations worldwide have donated billions of dollars to Gaza. And remember, this is a very small territory, smaller than the territory of the city of New York. And looking at the amount of donations that was given to Gaza, this should look like a Dubai, and yet it looks like this. There are two reasons why Gaza looked like a slum even before the war with Israel. The first reason is that the money that was supposed to go to help the people was taken by the leaders of Hamas and used for their own benefit. The leaders of Hamas are living a luxurious life in Qatar, and their personal wealth is billions of dollars. They do not care about Gaza. And how did they get so rich? Well, it's through the wonderful donations for the poor people in Gaza. And the rest of the money that was left over was used by Hamas to create weapons and rockets that were to be used against Israel. Okay, but that's just one group of people that refer to themselves as Palestinians. But as I said, that's not the only group of people who call themselves Palestinians. There are also other groups of people who claim to be Palestinians. The second group of people who also call themselves Palestinians are the ones living in the so-called West Bank. Now, I challenge you, ask any of